Prime Minister, thanks so much for making time for us today.
My pleasure.
I want to begin because there's a lot of conversation that if Vladimir Putin is successful in Ukraine with his full scale invasion, then he could start looking to other countries as well, trying to reconvene the Soviet Union, essentially. How big of a concern is that? And do you think that the way that the Ukraine war has been going for him so far, kind of leads you to believe that maybe that could be a possibility?
Well, first of all, of course, this is what he wants. This is his ambition, and they are, let's say, not even shy about it. Lavrov, the prime minister of Russia, came to Alaska to meet with the U.S. delegation, actually wearing the shirt of USSR, Soviet Union, which would be the same if Friedrich Merz would come to some meeting in France wearing Nazi symbolics. I'm 100% certain that no German chancellor would do that. But then again, Russians do it, and they are not even ashamed of that. So, of course, this is a serious concern. Estonia, as part of NATO, is not afraid of the confrontation so much. But then again, we are the ones who are preparing already since 2014 when the war started. We have since then fulfilled all the NATO criteria and will continue to do so.
Do you think as well, because I mean, you mentioned the meeting in Anchorage, Alaska with President Trump and President Putin. Do you think President Trump is kind of tending in the direction of appeasement, trying to do whatever he needs to do to satisfy Vladimir Putin? Or do you think maybe it's the opposite? Maybe he's trying to show him that, he is the authoritative figure in all of this?
Well, let's put it this way, that certainly there was a lot of diplomatic steps that were kind of bringing a war criminal to a position or light that he shouldn't be. I mean, the memes about rolling the carpet by US soldiers definitely wasn't a good thing. I think Russians, especially the Kremlin regime, enjoys it very much because for them, US has been and remains a strategic adversary, so they're not ashamed to say that, and they don't see US as an ally for like any reason. Secondly, also taking Trump to his car was a big gesture, and certainly anyone who knows diplomatics knows that this is something that usually is done amongst very good friends. Again, I don't think that Trump should consider Putin a friend. Certainly, Putin doesn't see Trump as a friend. He sees Trump as someone that he wants to use to get his goals.
And it seems as if there's a growing kind of trend amongst some of the adversarial powers, countries like Russia, China, North Korea, where they're starting to grow closer and closer with one another. And then, of course, Western countries, I'm speaking to you today from Canada, the US, countries, again, in the Western world. It seems as if the tension between them is starting to increase as well in the way of tariff battles and just kind of back and forth on a whole host of issues here. How dangerous is it when, again, we have the adversarial powers becoming closer and the Western kind of liberal democracies growing further?
Well, of course, it would be dangerous if it would be fully like that, but I'm very optimistic still that Europe and US and Canada and other like-minded countries can speak at one voice. What we saw recently in the White House, where President Trump and President Zelensky met with several European leaders who all spoke in the same voice, or that was a very positive thing, actually. Even though we didn't see like a full breakthrough, but I think it would have been naive to expect like a huge breakthrough so suddenly.
And just lastly, before we finish up here, I mean, do you think moving forward, people understand the full grasp of the conflict? And I ask that because Donald Trump has come out recently and said that he's going to rule out sending U.S. troops to the Ukrainian battlefield. Do you think, again, some of the Western countries understand the role that they should be playing in this conflict?
Difficult to say. Of course, the further the conflict is from you, the more difficult it is to understand the facts. But then again, all of the world leaders, if they wish, they have very detailed briefs, and they can see that Russia is the aggressor. They can see that there has been very clear aggression not only against the Ukrainian military, but more importantly against the Ukrainian civilians. They know that tens of thousands of Ukrainian children have been illegally taken to Russia away from their parents. All these atrocities that have been committed are no secret to any world leader if they wish to see them. So my wish to all the world leaders is that we should keep our eyes open, and we should do whatever we can to stop this conflict. And this conflict cannot stop with Russia getting away with all the crimes. So we need to help the Ukrainians to save democracy and save their country and save European security.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Prime Minister, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.